every Star Wars character loathed by Star Wars fans. Before one can consider a story as a legend, the heroes and villains will play a role in how we recall it. However, one thing is for certain. There won't be celebrations of every character's name. From goofy sidekicks to wasted heroes, these names go on as legacy. And through their decisions and stories, they turned excitement into annoyance. Have you ever wondered who the most hated character names are from Star Wars and why they maintain relevance for the saga and their legacy? Let's do it and dig into the most hated names from a galaxy far, far away. Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks, voiced by Ahmed Best, is widely hated by Star Wars fans for his obnoxious voice, clumsy antics, and childish behavior. Introduced in The Phantom Menace, he turns serious scenes into unintended comedy, frustrating viewers. Fans criticize his crazy speech, constant slapstick, and narrative irrelevance. Despite involvement in major plot points, including granting emergency powers to Palpatine, he adds no meaningful contribution and undermines the story's tone. Jar Jar is now seen as a symbol of the prequel trilogy's failures. His irritating personality, cartoonish behavior, and lack of story impact make him a character audiences actively despise. Fans consistently cite him as the most annoying and hated figure in Star Wars, a character who distracts rather than enhances the saga. Mace Windu. Mace Windu, played by Samuel L. Jackson, is a Jedi Master in the prequel trilogy who has become a divisive character among fans. Many criticize him for his cold, rigid demeanor, frequent interruptions, and condescending attitude toward Anakin, which made him feel unsympathetic and unlikable. His role on the Jedi Council often comes across as pedantic, reducing him to a voice of bureaucracy rather than a compelling hero. Fans also point to inconsistencies in his portrayal. Despite being portrayed as one of the most powerful Jedi, his sudden defeat by Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith felt abrupt and undermined his established abilities, leaving many frustrated. Mace Windu is now frequently cited as one of the prequel trilogy's most loathed Jedi. His personality, uneven narrative importance, and perceived arrogance contributed to a fan perception of him as stiff, frustrating, and narratively unsatisfying. Mara Jade. The violet-robed character, Mara Jade, is widely criticized by Star Wars fans for being confusing and poorly integrated. Originally from the expanded universe of Legends, Mara Jade's complex backstory as the Emperor's Hand does not translate clearly in adaptations or stylized depictions. Fans see her as unnecessary, with minimal context or explanation, leaving her role unclear and her presence disruptive. Her violet robes and stylized design draw attention but fail to convey any meaningful narrative purpose. She often appears as a placeholder or visual filler, contributing little to plot or character development. Because of this, the character is frequently listed among the least liked minor figures. Fans express frustration over her ambiguous role, unclear motives, and underwhelming impact. Rather than adding depth, she is seen as an awkward, confusing inclusion that fails to resonate and generates more annoyance than interest. Newt Gunray. Newt Gunray, the Neomodian viceroy of the Trade Federation, voiced by Silas Carson, is widely criticized by Star Wars fans for being inept and irritating. Intended as a key antagonist in The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, he comes across as cowardly, whining, and indecisive, making him more laughable than threatening. Fans consistently point to his exaggerated panic, over-the-top reactions, and repetitive dialogue as grating, turning tense political situations into unintentionally comedic scenes. His incompetence is particularly clear in the Naboo blockade and his dealings with Darth Sidious, where he repeatedly fails yet continues to fumble, frustrating viewers. Watto. Watto, voiced by Andy Secombe, is a Toydarian junk dealer on Tatooine in The Phantom Menace. Fans widely loathe him for his irritating personality, grating voice, and smug, haggling behavior. Scenes with Watto, particularly involving Anakin and Shmi Skywalker, are often criticized as annoying distractions rather than meaningful story moments. His exaggerated animation, repetitive dialogue, and over-the-top comedic delivery make him feel cartoonish and out of place in the prequel's more serious moments. Watto contributes little to the plot beyond minor obstacles, reinforcing the perception that he is unnecessary and poorly integrated. Watto is now considered one of the most disliked minor characters in the prequel trilogy. His obnoxious humor, arrogant attitude, and narrative irrelevance have made him frustrating to watch, earning him a reputation as a character fans actively dislike rather than enjoy. Nien Nunb. Nien Nunb, voiced by Mike Quinn, is the Sullustan co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon in Return of the Jedi and the sequels. Fans widely criticize him for being overhyped despite minimal screen time. His role is limited to cockpit scenes and brief lines, leaving him underdeveloped and narratively irrelevant. His alien design and occasional heroic moments fail to make him meaningful. Many viewers see him as a background novelty included for fan service rather than story impact. His popularity among some audiences is viewed as a disproportionate to his actual contribution, generating frustration among fans who find him overrated. Nien Nunb is now often cited as one of the more annoying minor characters in Star Wars. His forced fan favorite status, lack of development, and minimal narrative significance make him irritating rather than engaging, earning him a reputation as a character fans tolerate rather than appreciate. Admiral Holdo. Admiral Holdo, played by Laura Dern in The Last Jedi, is widely disliked by Star Wars fans for her secretive and frustrating characterization. She withholds her plans from Poe Dameron and the Resistance, creating unnecessary tension that many viewers saw as contrived. Fans also criticized her minimal development and abrupt introduction. Outside a few key scenes, including the hyperspace ram, she contributes little to the story or character arcs. Her aloof and condescending demeanor makes her feel unsympathetic, and her sudden heroic act does not redeem her perceived narrative irrelevance. Holdo is now considered one of the most divisive characters of the sequel trilogy. Her secretive behavior, lack of meaningful presence, and poor integration into the plot make her frustrating to watch. Fans often view her as an unnecessary, irritating addition who undermines the story rather than enhancing it. Padmé Amidala. Padmé Amidala, played by Natalie Portman, is widely disliked by Star Wars fans for her inconsistent characterization and lack of agency. Despite being a queen and senator, she is often sidelined, reduced to romantic interest or exposition, contributing little to major conflicts. Fans also criticize her dialogue and delivery, calling her lines stiff, melodramatic, and awkward. Her romance with Anakin Skywalker is seen as poorly developed, unconvincing, and frustrating, often undermining the emotional weight of key scenes. Political speeches and decision-making moments are criticized as slow and didactic, breaking narrative tension and frustrating viewers. Finn. Finn, played by John Boyega, is widely disliked by Star Wars fans for weak characterization and limited impact. Introduced as a defecting stormtrooper, he promised an engaging arc but repeatedly fails to deliver, frustrating audiences. Fans criticize his underdeveloped motivations and inconsistent heroism. Key moments, particularly in The Rise of Skywalker, feel inconsequential, with his bravery overshadowed by unclear stakes, forced humor, and uneven competence. His interactions with Rey and Poe are often awkward and forced, further diminishing his presence. Finn's backstory receives more attention than his contributions to the main conflict, making him feel unnecessary and narratively irrelevant. He is now considered one of the sequel trilogy's most criticized characters. Weak development, inconsistent heroism, and minimal story significance make Finn frustrating to watch, earning him a reputation as a character fans actively dislike rather than engage with. Rose Tico. Rose Tico, played by Kelly Marie Tran, is widely disliked by Star Wars fans for her unnecessary subplot and poor integration into the story. Her Canto Bight mission with Finn is viewed as a distraction that slows the main plot and breaks narrative tension. Fans also criticize her personality and dialogue, describing her as preachy, awkward, and overbearing. Her interactions with Finn feel forced, and her motivations are unclear, making her role seem pointless. She is often seen as inserted to convey moral lessons rather than advance the Resistance fight against the First Order. Minimal character development and limited impact on key events make Rose frustrating to watch. Fans consider her narratively irrelevant and irritating, cementing her reputation as one of the sequel trilogy's most disliked characters. She is a character audiences tolerate rather than enjoy. Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen, is widely disliked by Star Wars fans for poor characterization and awkward dialogue. Intended as a tragic hero, he comes across as whiny, inconsistent, and emotionally exaggerated, making key scenes frustrating to watch. Fans criticize his stiff delivery and melodramatic performance, particularly in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. His turn to the dark side is seen as rushed and poorly developed, undermining any emotional impact and leaving audiences annoyed. Despite being central to the story, Anakin's tantrums, erratic behavior, and weak dialogue make him one of the prequel trilogy's most criticized characters. Fans view him as frustrating, unsympathetic, and poorly written, a character whose potential is lost to awkward execution and inconsistent personality. Some characters inspire loyalty. Others ignite controversy that lasts for decades. Love them or hate them, they've each left a mark on Star Wars history. Proof that even in a galaxy far, far away, not every story hits the mark. Which character do you think deserves the top spot on the most loathed list? Drop your pick in the comments and let's see where the fandom truly stands. May the Force be with you.